I'm going to do a quick geometry video just so you know how I'm going to teach this to the kids. This is going to be on the coordinate plane. Oh. All right. I start off explaining to them that the entire coordinate plane has 4 quadrants, so they need to know what the word quadrant means. But in 5th grade, the only one that they're going to have to be responsible for is quadrant 1 because it's the only one that has positive numbers. The rest involve negative numbers somehow. So they'll learn that when they get to middle school. But I start off basically just talking about the parts of a coordinate plane or coordinate grid. And so those are words they're going to have to know. I talk about how it's got a horizontal line and a vertical line. So those are 2 other words that they're going to have to know, horizontal and vertical, and that they have special names. The horizontal line is called the x-axis, and the vertical line is called the y-axis. And so those are definitely large terms they're going to have to know. And we talk about, the reason I start off showing them all 4 quadrants is because the very center is called the origin. So we talk about that word. And then from there we move into talking about how to actually put location points on their coordinate. And so if they have something like, let's see here, a location point like that, first of all, they'll have to know what point means. It's called plotting your point. And so plot is a word that they'll hear in class. And we talk about how to determine that location. And the way I kind of teach it in class, just so they remember, they know it involves the number 4. And, well, let me change it so it's different numbers, maybe right here. It's going to involve the number 4 and the number 5, but they've got to know, does it go a 4-5 or 5-4? They've got to remember which number comes first. The way I teach it to help them remember is that they have to crawl on this bottom line before they walk up. Kind of like, because we talk about babies crawling before they're walking. And so they've got to crawl to the number 4 and then walk up to the number 5. And the way that they write that, and this is called an ordered pair, is 4 with a comma and then a 5, and they're going to see that inside of parentheses. So that's called an ordered pair, and coordinates that we're going to be talking about in class. They're also going to be making different things with their ordered pairs. They're going to be making lines like, it might go from a 4-5 to maybe a 4-11, and connecting those, and then they might have to do different things like knowing how to make a perpendicular line to this current, this is actually a line segment, so they might have to make a perpendicular line to that, but they've got to remember what that means. They might also have to make a parallel line to that, and so they'd have to know to plot points making it parallel or perpendicular. They might also have to make different shapes using different ordered pairs and connecting those ordered pairs. So that's something that they'll see in class, and that's how I'm going to be teaching it. Those definitions are definitely key though, because if they don't know what those words mean, they're not going to really know what's going on in class. The only other thing I will show you that I will be doing in class is interpreting those graphs and understanding what they actually mean. Like I might give them a graph like this, and they have to determine that it is about plant growth, and that as the time or the number of days increases, what happens? Well, as this increases, the height also increases. And they could go the opposite way also and say, as the time decreases, so does the height. And so some things like this are going to be common sense to them, but not always. It depends on what data we're talking about in class. And as well as over here, this one is talking about the number of pages read in a certain amount of time. And so as the time increases, the number of pages also increases. And not everything will be so linear like this. Sometimes it'll be more of a scatter plot situation, but there will be trends that they have to determine in their graphs. Okay, so those are the main pieces of information with graphs. Any other questions, just contact me. Thanks.